So today we're going to be talking about closed system winching. So today, this week's post, I did something on rigging. Got a ton of feedback from you guys, got a ton of questions. So I want to continue on that theme for this week on rigging and winching. You can see here I was just messing with my Warren Xeon tennis winch, but I also have a couple products that I want to show you and kind of explain to you this whole closed system winching thing that I've been talking about here. Let me see, I'll show you this first. This is one of the original products from a really cool company called Factor55. This is all billet aluminum. It's machined from one piece, and I haven't ran this one in a couple years because this one was on the JK that you guys were used to seeing in the beginning of the Fieldcraft videos and stuff that I started out with doing. But I wanted to show you this because this is where it started. Closed system, meaning there's no open areas and your rigging actually attaches here. I started out the video with the Ultra hook, which is also closed up top here, and then has a more traditional hook. And we'll get into this one in a little more detail. And I also have a flat link that's gonna be going on the Eco Diesel Wrangler that you guys see. All closed system winching. Now, Factor55 does a really great job. They are predominantly like aerospace engineers in the company. They did provide a couple of these pieces, including the Ultra hook, and I have used a flat link in the 903 race car that we used during King of the Hammers at the beginning of this year. So I have a pretty extensive experience with them over the last couple years. I think they're a really great product, and here's why I wanted to show them to you. What they do is they eliminate and mitigate a lot of the risk when it comes to recovery and using your winch. A closed loop just means that there isn't any open pieces in your traditional winch setup that you get straight from the factory from Warren, where they typically have the hook and then it's got like a little pot steel little clasp on it. This one is different. We'll talk about this one next. I'm just kind of going through first the original hook setup that you typically have gotten in the past, and even more so now things are starting to change with the merger or acquisition of Warren and Factor55. So what's great about this, like I said, is when you and I go out and we're recreational driving or we're racing or overlanding or whatever genre that you fit in, none of us want to get hurt. Certainly not the children that we're taking out. My babies are so important to me. And what this does in the event of a recovery, it will eliminate the risk. How? Well, let me tell you. So this hook here has a closed system in it. The traditional hook that you see has some potential to cause risk at the slack line event just prior to you putting tension on, okay? So you guys know, you get your rigging together, you've either selected your anchor, the rigging's there, and before you can even get back and press on your controller, you see you have all this line here. When you walk away, this can slack out, fall, and that would create a problem. The other thing that can happen too is if you're on a load with something that's not closed system, it can fall out while that load is there, and that can be disastrous, okay? So that's the main reason why these guys came out, and also the main reason why a lot of us prefer them and use them. You can see here, the other thing they do with the rope guard that is on both of these options is they will protect the eye that is on the end of your line, and that you'll have this on either a synthetic or a steel option, and I'll show you here how it attaches and mates to it, but that's a good option to have because it will protect you from impacts when you're mobbing through the desert, or like us, we hit the guy in front of us to get him out of the way in King of the Hammers. It'll protect that vulnerable spot there. The other thing too is it'll protect it from the elements or the sun. You guys know if you're parking outside or when you're outside, that piece is just sticking out there like a sore thumb. So I really like that they had the forethought to go in there and put a rope guard on that. So if you're gonna look at these, make sure you get that with it too. Next, what's great about the flat link is just like the name suggests, it goes completely flush on the front of your platform. One of the things when these first came out, these are kind of like what, thimbles? What are they called? I don't know. Anyways, the front of this, you can see over the years as it sat in the front of my Jeep, would take just a little bit of abuse. Although it did manage it well, the use of a flat link will actually get you a better approach angle on the front. So I would say start with these if you're more of a crawler, but any of the systems work. Now for us, I did go with that Ultra hook because of a couple things. If you guys remember, on one of the recoveries we did on the Fieldcraft Survival YouTube channel. The platform that we're recovering, which was another Gladiator, was under the water. We had to wait 3 days for that water to go down before it was, one, safe to pull them out, but two, we could actually physically do it with my truck. And I wish I would have had a hook, especially this ultra hook. I could not see what I was doing because the water level had come up and it was pretty murky. So it would have been a lot easier to have something like this to where I could have, rigged this to the front of that vehicle, came in, and you see it does have that little clasp there, come in and out, and it would have made it a lot easier in order to do that. And that's the reason for the hook. The Ultra Hook was designed for Ultra 4, that's why it's got Ultra in the name. And when you're racing, things happen quickly. And recovery, I like to call it controlled chaos, right? And what you want to do, again, is mitigate that risk, but you want something that can go quickly in a race because seconds matter, right? So the Ultra Hook was designed for that, but it also sits flush on the front of your platform for when you're mobbing through the desert or in the rocks, you're not going to hit or have an impact there. The other really cool thing about this, and I did get this question the other day, is, well, why would I use it? It's a hook just like the factory one that you're saying is kind of dangerous. Well, it is, however, there's a couple of really great upgrades. One, this is all aircraft grade aluminum. On the factory setup, that little clasp there doesn't have this level of tension on it, and it's not aluminum. It's more like a pot steel. It gets crumpled up. I've had those things mess up, and the spring on them, honestly, is not that great. So this one has all the upgrades. You can see, you can hear the tension there, but let me see if I can show you this. It's got a little pin already attached to it where you can come in and you can see all the little instructions on it for, knuckle draggers like us. You can get in there and you can just pin that pretty easy. You can see there, I won't put it in all the way, and that's it, it stops. So that's a great option if you need to move quickly, but also safely with the closed system. The other option you have, like I said in the front, is the closed system out in the front for your shackle. So the shackle would just thread through, or you can use the top. What's great about this tool is that it has hand grooves on it. And I know that may seem like a moot point. For me, it really helps me out. There was this one time I was teaching a course and I was using someone else's equipment, not familiar, little bit out of my own. I just wasn't paying attention and I rigged it incorrectly during the class, right? And what I did is, on a hook that comes from the factory worn, I actually rigged it like this, top down, and said, okay, we're done. And that's actually incorrect. What's great about the hand grooves on it and the fact that the instructions are on this hook, which I love, it helps me mitigate that risk, is that you'll always use this in the right direction because just ergonomically, the finger grooves are there. And the reason why you want that is so that this will clasp on the top side, but in the event of a breakage, which is also very rare, it will break downward. A couple of statistical pieces for you. These are 2 times stronger than the factory hook that you get on your factory winch. So I like it. I think you should use it. I use it. Factor55 is a great American company, and make sure you have some fun and be safe while you're doing it too. Catch you on the next one, guys.